Imagine a world where the trees are so thick they swallow the sun, where the air is a heavy, humid weight against your skin, and where every step forward is a battle against a verdant, suffocating wall of green. Now, imagine that deep within this emerald labyrinth, there is a city not of stone and mud, but of shimmering, blinding gold. For 500 years, this image has haunted the dreams of explorers, fueled the greed of empires, and led thousands of men to their watery or skeletal graves. This is the legend of El Dorado. But what if I told you that the Golden City was never a place, but a person? And what if the real treasure of the Amazon wasn't gold at all, but something far more sophisticated and sprawling than we ever dared to imagine? The story begins not in the depths of the jungle, but high in the Andes Mountains of modern-day Colombia. Here, the Muisca people practiced a ritual that would inadvertently set the world on fire. When a new chieftain, the Zipa, rose to power, he was covered from head to toe in gold dust. He would board a ceremonial raft surrounded by 4 high priests and venture to the center of the sacred lake Guatavita. As the sun rose, its rays hitting his gilded skin, he would shine like a living deity. To appease the gods, he would plunge into the cold waters, washing away the gold, while his subjects tossed emeralds and gold ornaments into the depths. This was the gilded man, El Dorado. When the Spanish conquistadors heard whispers of this ritual, their imaginations, already inflamed by the plunder of the Aztecs and Incas, transformed the gilded man into a gilded city. They envisioned a place where the streets were paved with gold and the walls were encrusted with jewels. This obsession drove men like Gonzalo Pizarro and Francisco de Orellana into the heart of the Amazon in 1541. They expected a quick victory and unimaginable wealth. Instead, they found a green hell. Orellana's expedition was a nightmare of starvation and madness. They were forced to eat their leather belts and the soles of their shoes. Yet, as Orellana drifted down the world's largest river, he claimed to see things that historians would dismiss as his hallucinations for the next 4 centuries. He spoke of massive, interconnected cities, of sophisticated roads, and of thousands of warriors led by fierce women whom he called Amazons. When Orellana returned to Spain, his accounts were met with skepticism. How could such a brutal, nutrient-poor environment support the massive populations he described? The jungle, it was believed, was a counterfeit paradise, a place where civilization went to die, not to flourish. For hundreds of years, the Amazon was viewed as a pristine, untouched wilderness, home only to small, nomadic tribes living in harmony with nature. This narrative suited the colonial perspective. It made the land seem empty and available. But in the late 20th century, the earth began to speak. It started with the soil. Normally, tropical soil is thin and acidic, quickly depleted of nutrients. However, archaeologists began finding patches of terra preta, or Amazonian dark earth. This wasn't natural soil. It was a man-made, carbon-rich fertilizer created over centuries by mixing charcoal, bone, and organic waste. These patches of terra preta were so fertile and so vast that they could only have been created by millions of people living in sedentary, organized societies. The mystery deepened with the discovery of the geoglyphs. As the rainforest was cleared for cattle ranching in the Brazilian state of Acre, massive geometric shapes emerged from the Earth's circles, squares, and hexagons, some hundreds of feet across. These weren't the foundations of houses, but ceremonial centers and defensive enclosures. They proved that the pre-Columbian inhabitants of the Amazon were master engineers, capable of moving vast amounts of Earth to reshape their landscape. Then came the technology that changed everything: LiDAR, light detection and ranging. By flying over the dense canopy and firing millions of laser pulses at the ground, scientists were finally able to see through the trees. What they found was staggering. In the Llanos de Mojos region of Bolivia, the LiDAR scans revealed the Casarabe culture. They didn't just find a few houses, they found an entire urban landscape. There were 70-foot-tall pyramids, massive earthen platforms, and a network of raised causeways and canals that stretched for miles, connecting different settlements. This was a low-density urbanism, a sprawling garden city civilization that integrated the forest into its infrastructure. Further east, in the Upper Xingu, archaeologist Michael Heckenberger found evidence of Kuhikugu, a cluster of 20 towns and villages that once housed upwards of 50,000 people. These weren't the primitive settlements of popular imagination. They had defensive moats, plazas, and sophisticated waste management systems. They were connected by perfectly straight roads, some 150 feet wide, that were oriented to the cardinal directions. The people of the Amazon weren't just surviving in the jungle, they were managing it. They transformed the rainforest into a massive, edible orchard, planting billions of fruit and nut trees that still dominate the landscape today. So why did these cities disappear? Why did the later explorers find only primitive tribes and empty forest? The answer is as tragic as it is simple. When the Europeans arrived, they brought with them invisible killers: smallpox, measles, and influenza. These diseases traveled faster than the explorers themselves, moving along the very trade routes that connected the great Amazonian cities. By the time the next wave of Europeans arrived, the great civilizations had collapsed. Up to 90% of the population had perished. The jungle, with its incredible speed of growth, reclaimed the wood and thatch cities within decades. The monumental earthworks were swallowed by vines, and the pristine wilderness we see today is actually a ghost of a managed landscape, a garden that lost its gardeners. The legend of El Dorado was both a lie and a hidden truth. The gold was a myth, a projection of European avarice, but the city was real. It just wasn't made of gold. It was made of earth, ingenuity, and a profound understanding of the natural world. The pre-Columbian Amazonians achieved what modern society is still struggling to do. They built massive, thriving civilizations without destroying the ecosystem that supported them. They lived in a way that enhanced the biodiversity of the forest rather than depleting it. As we peel back the layers of the jungle floor, we are forced to rewrite the history of our species. The Amazon was never a vacuum of history. It was one of the most densely populated and culturally rich regions on Earth. Every time a new LiDAR scan reveals a hidden plaza or a forgotten canal, we are reminded that the lost cities were never truly lost. They were simply hidden by the very life they helped foster. Today, the Amazon is under threat. Deforestation is destroying the very ruins that could teach us how to live sustainably in the tropics. We are burning the library of our ancestors before we have even finished reading the first chapter. The real El Dorado wasn't a hoard of treasure for a single king. It was a blueprint for a civilization that worked in harmony with the planet. As we look at the remnants of these great garden cities, we have to wonder if a civilization as vast and sophisticated as the one Orellana glimpsed could be wiped out so completely that we forgot it even existed for 500 years. What does that say about the permanence of our own world? Are we, too, just a few centuries away from being reclaimed by the earth, leaving behind nothing but whispers of our own golden age. The lost cities of the Amazon are no longer a myth, they are a mirror. What do you see when you look into the green heart of the world? Do you see a past that was lost, or a future that we have yet to reclaim?